Ladies and gentlemen, what a wild, wild world we're living in right now. I'm telling you guys, I keep saying every time I put out a video, something else happens. It's the old Office Michael Scott scene where he's like, snip, snap, snip, snap. This is how I feel. You know, one moment Call of Duty's doing something good or bad, and then Battlefield does something good, and we're doing this punching match. And if you've been living under a rock today and not paying attention to what happened, I mean, this news, I stood up, I was at the gym, I was at Planet Fitness, I tweeted it out, I started clapping. I just started clapping in the middle of Planet Fitness, and people just looked at me, and I said, listen, Call of Duty's back. I'm kidding, guys. Listen, we're going to talk about that. So this video is going to be going over what just happened today, a little history lesson about, you know, previous Call of Duties that had a little competition, what I think Black Ops 7 still needs to do, and what also Call of Duty could do to kind of bring back even more people. And then we'll talk about why I'm concerned about this move, because there's still something coming up in the future that could impact this entire thing and it won't even matter. So let's get right down to it. First of all, I have been enjoying these rant videos so much. Like, I know I've said it like 3 times now. I just get to sit here and talk about Call of Duty. How can I not love this? How can I not love my life? What an honor. So thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching, and all the feedback from the last video where I talked about covering Battlefield. You guys were just crushing it. So thank you. But let's dive into the news, okay? It sounded like Keemstar. Let's dive right into the news. Okay, never mind. Keep going. So today, breaking at like 9 in the morning, and I'm sure they tweeted this early because obviously Battlefield just put out a bunch of early gameplay, and the reviews went out and all this stuff. Like, I think the embargo lifted at like 10 a.m. Well, Call of Duty, of course, knows this and put out this tweet, I think very similar time, that said skill-based matchmaking is gone. Like, legitimately gone. When the actual full game comes out, the mosh pit that was available, like the way that they did that open mosh pit, that is going to be the matchmaking for the entire game. Now, I was going to make a video today and suggest if Call of Duty didn't do this, they might as well throw their game in the trash can, because it's not going to matter. If they gave us the carrot in the beta and then took it away, nobody would play this game. So they put out that tweet. They say that the matchmaking is going to go away. On top of this, they also bring back and introduce the word disbanding lobbies. They never really talked about it in the beta. They never really mentioned it, but disbanding lobbies is pretty much a term where if you play somebody, the group of 10 or whatever it is, 12 people, once the game ends, you're going to be with those same 12 people again. And that's where, again, you can learn how the other team plays. You can create rivalries, you can create friendships. And they announced that not only is SBMM going away, that this disbanding lobby that's been prevalent since MW19 is also going away, which is just absolutely shocking. I mean, I cannot believe it took another game that actually was doing well for Call of Duty to make these changes. I have to say it. I'm so grateful that they made these changes, but at the same time, I have to feel in the bottom of my heart that they only made these changes because there's competition. Like, that's the way it feels to me, because we've been shouting in the void since MW19. There's been some guy that's got the stats, and he just keeps thinking that this is a good idea. Well, why is it all of a sudden not a good idea in BO7? Did the stats guy get fired? Where did the stats guy go? Because now the stats are saying that everybody loves open matchmaking and disbanding lobbies are gone. It's crazy. So on top of this, there's also another additional thing that they did. And if you follow any keyboard and mouse players or creators, we all know, guys, they just can't get over it. The aim assist controls the game. And listen, I'm not gonna lie, they do have a little bit of a point. Do I think mouse and keyboard players have their whole entire arm to aim? I do. It's Call of Duty. Play it on a controller, man. But anyway, they actually put out another little blog at the bottom of the blog that said that they're going to be loosening, not loosening, I guess so. There's going to be aim assist changes. So I don't know really what these changes are. I'm assuming that it's going to be a little bit looser of aim assist, where it's not as snap on and not as pretty much aiming for you. Because I will admit to the keyboard and mouse people, Call of Duty has become so easy to aim that people don't realize, like, if they ever go back to an old school Call of Duty and play like Black Ops 2, dude, they will have the windiest shots of all time. Trust me. So This is a big thing. I think that it's going to even out the playing field a little bit more. Also, another thing that it's going to do is people that maybe were getting kills that maybe shouldn't have, they might be in trouble. They might have to adjust their sensitivity. They might have to go in the firing range a little bit, shoot some bots. All of these changes are phenomenal. And I have to give credit to Call of Duty, although I do think it's slightly because they had competition this year, but I'm still going to give them a little credit. So now let's talk about, that was the news for today, which was groundbreaking. By the way, follow me on Twitter, by the way. I was tweeting all over the place because I had so much thoughts in my brain. I think it's easier to keep in touch with me there. I try to reply to a lot of you. So Tdawgsmitty. Anyway, moving right along, let's talk about now what I think this game still needs to do, because I feel like I have to say this, I still think with this futuristic game, I still think no matter what they do, it's still going to be held back just because it's a futuristic title. We'll get to that in 1 second, but I think that the change, if we're talking about BO7, and this is the COD that people are gonna have to play, I think we're gonna have to do something with the sliding. I've been saying it. I think it's just too spammy in this game. The left, the right, the front, the back, you're just sliding all over the place. Your initial response now in Call of Duty, and you have to let me know if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like as soon as I spawn in, I start spamming the slide button. Slide, go, slide, run, slide, slide, slide. And to me, we gotta have some sort of cooldown with this thing. I think I've said it before, and maybe I've mentioned it in another video. You have to let me know again, but Black Ops 3 had this white little bar at the bottom, or I guess at the bottom of your gun, I think it was, with the crosshairs. And when you slid or you jetpack, it had like a cooldown effect. So if you were to jump a bunch of times and then try to slide, your slide would be like terrible. And it didn't make the game slower by any means. Like I don't want to say slower, but it didn't make it seem like clunky or bulky. It just made it where you had to realize like, okay, I have 2 jumps with the boost jumping, and then I have 1 slide. Like that's how my mind thought in Black Ops 3. In this game, there's no cooldown when you slide. So you can just do it across the entire map. And after every kill, after every death, after every spawn, you're just doing that so often. And so I think you have to find a balance with this, to slow it down a little bit. You have to slow it down. And my second thought with this is, with the game being, what am I trying to say here? This is a sequel to BO2. And I feel like this is the line they should have chose. BO2 had that default Call of Duty movement. And, you know, you could drop shot and you could jump and you could dolphin dive. I feel like the next level, which they're trying to stay in line with the years and all that stuff, that's why there's no jetpacks. They literally said that. The technology hadn't been created yet. I feel like the iteration that this should have been is default BO2 movement with wall bouncing. I think that should have been, the more I play with these maps and the more that I play the game in general, I feel like that would have been the best play. And I think it's still a possibility. So I think that would have been the next step up. Just the normal BO2 movement with the wall bouncing. Because I actually really do enjoy the wall bouncing. I think it's fun. And then you would have went to, obviously, the next game after that, not in the series, but in the timeline, is BO3. Well, maybe it's BO4, but we don't have to talk about that. It's BO3. And then that's when they get the jetpack and the wall running and the sliding. And it just would have been, it seems like if they're trying to stay in this realistic timeline, that's the jump that should be made. And so my biggest complaint right now is the movement is just a little too fast. These maps are still actually kind of small. Like, I know they're medium, but when you get to sliding and brain rotten, they're kind of small. I ain't gonna lie. And I think this might run into another problem where down the line in January and February, we're like, give us Overgrown or something. Give us something that's a big map. I know that's not Treyarch, but who cares? We need a big map. So I think the maps either need to be bigger if they're not going to change the slide, but I really do. I just saw a Battlefield update for their day 1 patch, and they actually nerfed movement even more. Like, they're going all in on, hey guys, no jumping, not a lot of sliding going on over here. We're just straight up gunplay. And a lot of people are going to enjoy that. And a lot of people are going to play that. So yeah, that's my one big complaint. I think that's an easy adjustment. I think they have to see that. They have to see that. And here's my wild one. Okay, so here's the one that comes out of left field. And I don't even know if this is a possibility. It's probably not, but it's me as a Call of Duty fan just kind of, you know, might as well ask for it. So let me give you a brief history lesson Obviously, Battlefield 1 back in the day, we're talking 2015, 2016, excuse me. Battlefield 1 had been doing everything right with their release, just like what's happening now. And Call of Duty was doing everything wrong. They had introduced Infinite Warfare, space trailer. Nobody cared for it. Everybody was going, we're going Battlefield 1, Battlefield 1. And what Call of Duty did, their get out of jail free card, I don't know if they had this prepared. Obviously they did, but like, I don't know if this is when they intended to release it. They made and put out COD 4 Remastered. So you got COD 4 Remastered with IW, and it pretty much saved the game. I'm not gonna lie. I think this would have been the first time Battlefield took down Call of Duty if it wasn't for COD 4 Remastered, because they had a group of people that if they wanted to play this new jetpack era Call of Duty with IW, they could do it. And if you're somebody like me who was like, I'm gonna play COD 4 Remastered, you played COD 4 Remastered. So why do you need to know that history lesson? I feel like history is repeating itself a little bit. Battlefield, again, making all the right moves. Call of Duty trying to make the right moves, but it's still that futuristic title that I think people won't buy just because it's a futuristic title. And so I did a little research because I remember this being a thing, and I wanted to confirm it before I made this video so I didn't look like an idiot. But do you remember in 2020 when obviously Modern Warfare 19 was the Call of Duty? There was also another game, another Call of Duty that released that year, and that was Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. Sounds great, except for it was only the campaign. So we bought it, we played it, it was fun, but again, a campaign. We all wanted the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remaster to happen and get released. But here's the thing. Back then, Call of Duty was kind of on X Games mode. MW19 had released. Warzone was out. Cold War was killing it. They didn't want to split their player base, which I understand. Because really, when you think about it, Call of Duty was actually back during this time period. And so now, with the numbers the way they are, there is plenty of news and plenty of information out there. And I'm gonna read you this tweet. This is actually by a pretty a buddy of mine, Nocturnal. Not so fun fact. Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remastered exists. Beanox developed it as early as 2018. It was Activision's decision to only release the campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a MW2 remastered multiplayer sitting out in a shelf somewhere. I'm getting so passionate, I'm spitting everywhere. It's sitting somewhere in a shelf on a USB drive, not being used. Hear me out. If BO7 with all these changes still flops and Battlefield still wins the war, drop it. Drop the Modern Warfare 2 remastered game. Put it out. I know we just got MW3 with MW2 maps. I don't care. That's not MW2 remastered. This would go over so well, and you guess what you would have? You'd have people that want to play the futuristic Call of Duty, and you'd have the people that, like me, would 100% go play the MW2 OG remastered version of that, and you would win. And I guarantee you, if you're like me, you could probably, you know, I would be okay with how they did COD 4. You know, they had a lot of those, like, not supply drops. They're not going to bring those back. But, like, the skins that kind of match the era for COD 4. Again, you go play COD 4 Remastered. There's never a point where you're like, ew, that doesn't look like COD 4 Remastered. They were very true to the era and did a... For the supply drop era, I think they did a very good job. I think it was Raven Software, right, who did that? So, typical to them... And that's my thoughts. I think what they could do to fix BO7 is get rid of the slide or have a cooldown so it's not spammed. And then if they still lose with all these changes, put out MW2 remastered. Trust me. Now, I said in the beginning of the video why I'm still concerned even with all these changes. And I actually, again, I put this out on Twitter immediately because it's the first thought that came to my mind. Treyarch has been known to kind of push the envelope with Call of Duty. Like, they try to challenge them a little bit, like, hey, we want to do this and we want to do that. And Activision, I think they kind of have to sometimes bow to Activision, at least from what I see. And sometimes they don't. And this time around, I'm sure Treyarch came up with the idea that said, hey, we cannot be having skill-based matchmaking. Activision, please trust us. And Activision trusted them and they did it. So here's where I'm a little concerned. Is this a Treyarch thing or is this a Call of Duty thing? Because if it's a Treyarch thing, we set in big doo-doo jaja, because we all know who's up next. It's Infinity Ward. And Infinity Ward made MW19 and MW2. Just a quick history lesson for you guys. And let's just be honest. They do whatever the heck they want. It don't matter what people's opinions are. I mean, for crying out loud, MW19 didn't even have a mini map when the game came out. What in the world are we talking about? So, or in the beta was. So I'm nervous that Infinity Ward is gonna be like, yeah, we like our safe spaces. We want to protect the player base. We're bringing back skill-based matchmaking. And it's only a Treyarch thing at this point. Now, I would be shocked. I honestly, that would be it for Call of Duty. If they came back with MW4 and brought back all that disbandment and skill-based and no mini map and loud footsteps, like, guys, it's over. It's over. Like, at that point, we just got to chalk it up, and I don't know, somebody's got to make a new game or something. We got to Halo. Hopefully Halo makes a comeback or something. I'm nervous that they will just put their foot down and do what they do and just make decisions that don't represent the full player base of Call of Duty, if that makes sense. But overall, listen, I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is a Call of Duty announcement. I hope that maybe on the release they go like, hey guys, here's a blog post going forward. This is how we're gonna do things. Next Call of Duty is gonna have the same thing. Don't worry. Don't lose sleep over it. Either way, I know it's a lot going on there. We were talking about some news. We were talking about some suggestions. We did a little brief history lesson, and now we're talking about like a little bit of nervousness for the future of, you know, we'll see. But either way, I want to leave us with this final point. It is a great time to be a first-person shooter fan. With Battlefield doing what they're doing, with Call of Duty finally listening. I mean, I don't ever talk about Halo, but I think Halo's supposed to be announcing something soon, and hopefully they're actually paying attention and trying to listen to the community as well. I think we're in for a good year of games. And hey, listen, MW2 remastered, wild opinion there, but why not? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, thank you all so much for listening to these rants. More of these on the way. We're going to be playing the Battlefield 6 campaign tomorrow, I think at 11 a.m. Eastern, so make sure you're hanging out. Skipping the gym tomorrow. We're grinding Battlefield. So that'll be on YouTube and Twitch, so make sure you follow me, whichever platform you want to watch on. Again, follow me on Twitter and social media. Probably Twitter's the best way, just to keep up to date with content and with just my opinions and when we're going to be live streaming. But again, thank you all very much for hanging out with me. Thank you for the support on the content. The amount of subs and the amount of comments the last couple videos has been absolutely insane. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go unlock the MP40 in Black Ops 6 and torture myself a little bit. And then I'm going to go see the new Tron movie. Okay, guys, rant over. We'll see you in the next one.